At the start of this year, I did a video about Neymar, about the current situation of him at Al Hilal, and the fact that due to his injuries, due to all the chaos there, statistically, factually, Neymar's transfer to Al Hilal can be seen as potentially the worst transfer in football history. The only reason why it's seen as maybe not that bad, because in Saudi, they've got so much money that it doesn't really matter anymore. You could spend $1 billion on a player and it wouldn't even matter because they've got a trillion more. Yes, it may be a bit of a waste of time, but it got eyes on the league, which is what they want. Neymar has kind of gone under the spotlight now ever since then. You may have known that he has made a move back to his former club, his childhood club, Santos, which I was very happy to see him go back to Brazil and doing what he does best. And that is absolutely tearing apart and making people look stupid on a weekly basis. Let's go see how he's doing.
Cabisbaixo. O capitão nega a ajuda dos companheiros no capitão do Santos. A troca de gentileza do comandante do Vasco com o capitão santista. Em 7 partidas seguidas. Chora Neymar.
Okay. In mid-August, Neymar and Santos suffered one of the worst defeats in their modern times. And for Neymar, the worst defeat in his entire history by scoreline. 6-0 at home by Vasco da Gama, which this loss, of course, didn't just distress the entire fan base and the players, but of course got their manager sacked. You may be there thinking, wait, so Santos, I mean, they got Neymar, right? So they must be doing at least decent in the league. Well, if you look at the league table right now, they are currently, as we speak, 1 point above the relegation zone. Could be going better. And Neymar's been there since January, so he's been there for pretty much the entire season. It could have gone better. Now, to keep in mind, Neymar's 33, so of course his kind of play style, his burst of speed, acceleration, and his agility may not be as the way it was when he was younger. I guess you can almost look at a Messi for, of course, with his age, he would lose his touch of acceleration and speed. However, his intelligence on the ball, his passing range, and his movement on the pitch makes him just as good. And of course, he's still got great dribbling presence. Neymar is not the same as that. But quickly comment down below your thoughts on Neymar and how you've seen his career and kind of how do you feel about this kind of ending of his career in the last couple of years. Like, comment, subscribe, and Mirza Designs for the best football prints all made by myself. Use code Vizeh for 15% off all items. Thank you very much. Let's get back to it. You can see that by his performances for Santos. Since he's joined them, he's not been like disastrous, but he's not been Neymar levels of oh my god. For example, this year in the Brazilian Serie A, the Brasileiro Batano, he has started 11 games, 13 appearances with only 3 goals and 0 assists. He did play for Santos in early this year in the Paulista Serie A1. I don't fully understand the rules of Brazilian football. I presume this is some kind of like pre-season kind of tournament with teams in other leagues, I believe. This tournament seemed to be kind of a mixture of teams at different levels of the pyramid, because the team that he had his best game against Inter de Lima, this team is in the Serie D, basically the 4th tier of Brazilian football. And he got 3 goals and 3 assists in 7 games, which is a good amount of numbers. The love, obviously, with Santos fans with Neymar is still there, and forever will still be there. Of course, coming back to the club of Santos, which of course has the historic memory of Pele there as well, it's always going to be a very emotional feeling. Going back to the start of the video, the 6-0 loss at home to Vasco da Gama, he came out saying, "I'm ashamed, I'm totally disappointed with our performance. The fans have ever had to protest, obviously without using violence. I've never experienced this in my life. The tears were from anger, from everything. Unfortunately, I can't help it in every way." Keep in mind, Santos were promoted from the Serie B from last November before Neymar joined, so they are of course a side that's not always been in the top flight. They have been relegated recently and they've only just got promoted. Therefore, it's obviously expected that they were going to be having a bit of a struggle. But you would think Neymar being there, he can drag them through. Well, 13 games, only 3 goals. It's not working out. Obviously, one man doesn't make a team. Important to keep in mind though, of course he's ruptured his ACL and his meniscus in his left knee about 2 years ago, October 2023, when playing for Brazil, he tore his both meniscus and his ACL. This destroys footballers, especially for a footballer with the kind of play style as Neymar. You can imagine that when he plays always with a hesitation that he's going to injure himself again if he goes too far. If he runs too hard, if he turns too fast, he's going to have that in the back of his mind all the time, because if he doesn't do it correctly, he's going to suffer a world of pain again. And it has been said many a time, but I hate watching Neymar's career free fall since he's left Barcelona. Yes, people have short memories in relation to him, but at his peak, he was not only one of the greatest footballers we've seen in modern era, but also the most fun to watch. In an alternate universe, we should be talking about Neymar in the same breath as Messi and Ronaldo in terms of pure talent. Honest to God, that's how I feel. He never even got close to his full potential, in my opinion. It was scary how good he was, and it's a shame he never reached it due to what you may say, of course, obviously injuries, but also you may say maybe his own personal mentality and attitude towards the game. I don't think Neymar took it as serious as he could have, like a Messi or like Ronaldo. I don't think he looked after himself in the same way. I think he got caught up in a lot of nonsense that he shouldn't have got caught up in, like what he did at PSG and following the money and the lifestyle. I think he made a big fall. And people may disagree. They may say, well, it's harsh to call this time at PSG, a free fall, because yes, it may not be as competitive as a league. However, he played some fantastic football there and some great moments in the Champions League for PSG. But at the end of the day, it meant nothing. Other than like a handful of games, like the 5 years he was at PSG, you can't tell me anything he did at PSG. Unless if you're French and you watch that league each week to the entire world of global football, which matters in this kind of debate of what people in South America and what people in Japan or China think, in England, in Spain, no one really respects or puts that much credibility to what you do in Ligue 1. And that's something that Mbappe always felt until he had to make the move to Real Madrid. Obviously, he chose a lavish life over his career, in my opinion, and the entire footballing world would have been deprived of seeing Neymar in a full competitive outfit, him at his best, for much longer. We did at Barcelona, but he was never able to become the main man there with Messi and Suarez there. Maybe leaving Barcelona was a good idea, but not to go to PSG. Keep in mind, Neymar never really got injured too much before he went to PSG. PSG, you may be surprised, but French football is known as quite physical. And I think that plays a factor of how many injuries he's received since then. He's suffered so many significant injuries due to playing in Ligue 1 because they are a lot more physical there. And it makes you think, did his body break down as he joined PSG as a coincidence of maybe the age of his career, or due to his lifestyle in Paris? From what I gathered from some people in my community that are of course from France, I know a lad that's a Stade Rennais fan, I know a lad who's an RC Lens fan, and they confirmed to me when they watched the league week in week out, the conversations in France when he was there was about how he was targeted and how he was physically targeted every single week of how can we stop Neymar from beating us, let's smash him. That's just kind of my thoughts on Neymar and his move to PSG. That's been said 1,000 times, but it still annoys me how it just saddens me that his career is basically faded already. Him going to Al Hilal was already the beginning of his fade, and that was 2 years ago. Other than maybe the World Cup in Qatar, since the World Cup in Qatar, and he had that goal in the knockout rounds against Croatia, and then of course they still got knocked out in the end, and that was back in late 2022. Can you name me a single thing Neymar has done since 2022? My guy basically retired at 30. It's a disaster. I'm happy that he's back at Santos and he's with his childhood club and he's having that connection with his people over there, and I think that's good for him. I'm happy that he's back in Brazil. He's not somewhere in Qatar or something just doing nothing. I'm happy that he's back in Brazil, and I really hope for his sake, because he's a very emotional person as well, I really hope they somehow do not get relegated this year, because if Neymar's there and Santos gets relegated, that's going to be a very bad day. Keep in mind, just the other day, Neymar played for Santos against a team with an artificial pitch, and he came out online saying, confirmed, artificial pitches are shit. Now, this isn't due to maybe just the way the game is played. Artificial pitches is different, but also due to his age and all of his injuries, it hurts him. playing on grass is different to playing on an artificial pitch, and it's hurting him a lot more just by playing on it. So he now basically refuses to play on artificial pitches now. If you're Brazilian or you're someone that has a sort of feeling towards Neymar, comment down below your thoughts about him. If you look at the kind of stats of how he's done at Santos, it's been very, very mixed. Overall, he's not been that great. He's been alright, but he's not been that great. His play style has changed drastically. He's a lot more slower. He still has his flair. However, he's not got that final third quality, that clinical edge that he used to have due to his pure lack of pace that he's had from all his injuries. So that's Neymar. Hope you guys enjoy. I'll see you boys next time. See ya.